Welcome back to a Filmmaker Reacts, where today I have some new glasses. My girlfriend bought me these because they cancel out blue light, and I've been editing a lot recently, so she wanted me to protect my eyes. So thank you for that. But I think they make me look a little old, and since I'm only 7, I have a bit of a problem with that already. Today, we're going to be looking at the Sleeping Dogs cinematic trailer. If you don't know, Sleeping Dogs was a game that came out a little bit ago where you played as an undercover cop in Hong Kong, and it had a pretty stellar cinematic. And of course, we have our bourbon over here, which is stronger than my will to live. So let's jump into this. Now from here, I'm gonna let the video play through once before I come back and analyze it, because it's only 3 minutes long and I just want to get my reactions out, and then we'll come back and talk about it piece by piece.
There's this punk guy, thinks he can steal from Uncle Po and live to talk about it. He's at the club. When you see him, take back what belongs to the Sun On Yi Triad.
Ooh.
And Wei, make an example of him.
Oh my god. I'd forgotten that part. Oh. Very Raid. Love this song too. Ooh. Jesus. Oh my god. There's so much happening. There's so much happening here. Ooh, yeah. Oh. Oh. Man. Oh. I forgot on this part. I don't remember this part. Okay. If you say so.
I want to meet you. Looks like you're moving up in the world.
It's Raven. Yes, sir. Don't worry. Now they trust him. He's in.
So much happens in that. So many different aspects and elements. That's why I wanted you to see it. Not a lot of people have seen this. It wasn't the biggest game, and I mean, 1 million people have. But again, that's not a lot compared to, say, Assassin's Creed or other stuff. A lot happens in that. It is so reminiscent of the Raid, specifically the Raid 2, that it is unreal. When did the Raid actually come out? Hang on, let me check this out. When did the Raid come out?
In the United Kingdom, the Raid came out on the 18th of May 2012.
18th of May 2012, so this is February 8th, 2012. Yeah, this is incredible. So let's go back and analyze it, break it down, talk about every aspect, and see what we can find out about this trailer, what they did well, and how I think some of it was done. You got the establishing shot, so immediately you know you're in Hong Kong, and if you didn't, well, here's some close-up shots. At least you know that you're in a kind of
There's this punk guy,
eastern area.
thinks he can steal from Uncle Po
A very good way of connecting the pig to the dude who's stolen stuff
He's at the club.
that he's gonna be slaughtered.
Take back what belongs to the Sun On Yi Triad.
Classic club sequence, not like John Wick or Collateral or anything like that, but clubs are really great for action, especially when done right, because of all the harsh lights, the vivid colors, and the beat, you know. So this is kind of like transitioning from the kind of established area to where the action is going to happen. Kind of setting up who he's up against. You got some dude doing coke there. You got all the guys with the guns outside and the chef.
Make an example of him.
Again, this is kind of foreshadowing for what he's going to do to the guy, because he does chop him up with the cleaver. Immediately. Oh my god, I hate that. I hate anytime somebody's... Oh, I hate hooks. Ah, they did that same thing in Daredevil. Oh, it was terrible. It hurts so much to watch. Leatherface, oof. Like, the action here is, I would not be surprised if they hired out the same team who was behind the choreography and the stunts for the raid for this trailer. I would absolutely not be surprised. Look at the impact of these actual kicks and punches and everything. They are so well performed. These guys are professional, high-level professionals. I'm not a stuntman, but this stuff is high level. Look, I mean, they do cut on impact, but that, you know, boom, boom. You got the slow-mo takedown. Very well done, because they actually use the exact same fighting style and moves, exact same ones as the game in this whole thing. We'll actually touch on that a little bit later when he actually goes back out into the club. Ooh. Again, exactly mimics the game mechanics of dodging the blades. Boom. The impacts, it's, you know, showing the kind of double impacts. If you ever seen Every Frame of Painting, he talks about that, especially in Jackie Chan in action. There's a video where he talks about showing the impact of the cleaver and then showing it again as a close-up to kind of drive home the point that it was a very powerful strike. Now, this is a heck of a shot, dude. Let's watch this again. Boom. He goes there, kicks him in the face, picks this up. So we have what I think is a shoulder mounted camera from behind him, like a GoPro or something, similar to how they did that scene from it was one of the Robert Downey Jr. Sherlock Holmes films where they had like the camera rigged up to the guys when they were running through the woods getting shot at. I think that's how it's done, is they kind of rigged a camera up behind them to kind of go with his body. So if you've ever seen any actual like footage from like airsoft games or like soldier footage or body cam footage, well, not so much body cam, but helmet footage, or whenever they mount a GoPro on like a piece of equipment, like let's say a ski pole or something like that, has that exact same feel. So I think there is some kind of pole or something going behind him, maybe a backpack that he's wearing or something that's actually attached to his body, because you see as he moves, the way it moves with him is just so stellar. And this fire effect is incredible. Look at this. I can't even, I mean, I'm sure there is liquid on him. I cannot see it. I have seen somebody be set on fire in real life in person. It's the most incredibly astonishing thing you will see up close. I saw the stuntman douse himself in this kind of a gel thing, and he set himself on fire, and he was on fire for, I swear to God, like 40 seconds. That does not sound like a lot, but consider that Vine videos were only 7 seconds long, and so much happened in that. Now consider 40 seconds, almost a minute of being set alight. That guy did incredibly well. It was mind-blowing to see up close. Obviously, it was put out immediately with fire extinguishers, and there was a whole crew on call, whole safety and everything, but it was still mind-blowing. The things stuntmen do is incredible. We appreciate you, stuntmen. Without you, we would not have cool action sequences. I'm sure there's like, some kind of gel on him, protect him, but I can't see it. And the fire, and this, again, this is attached to his arm. Let's see. So yeah, this is attached to his arm. I think maybe the water and then the glass is actually superimposed onto the image. But how did they film that, actually? Because, oh, okay. Yeah, it would definitely be on his chest. So something around him, it comes out, from his chest area, and it kind of faces back towards him. Really cool shots, these. They can be used in really poor, tacky ways, but here, it's really well done. Again, dude's on fire. You know, it's funny because he got the fire extinguisher trying to help that guy out, and he's beating the dude trying to help the dude out on fire with the same fire extinguisher. Ooh. That little spin of the knife, you know, I can't imagine how many tries that took. Probably like 5 or 6 tries. Again, these guys are super pros, so maybe 1 try. I don't know. Let's look at the impact as well when it goes into his hand. I don't think we see it. No, we don't see it. It's super implied that it goes in his hand. Guess the gun pulled on him. It's kind of standoff, you know, back and forth, back and forth. And the music plays so well. And it's actually been choreographed to the music so incredibly well that I cannot imagine them not having picked the song prior to actually filming. Because everything kind of goes with it very well. Now, I might be wrong. It could just be a good matchup in post, but I have a feeling that they chose the song prior to even going out to film. You know, and we see kind of like what's happening behind him, and it kind of drags our attention. So like the guy obviously has the gun to his head, and the gunman, as his friend is pulling the knife out, he looks at his friend because it's just such a disgusting, like, you know, obviously we're not shown these things, but the story heavily implies it. And it does a good job of heavily implying it. He looks over to see like, oh God, and then boom. Mistake. Bang, bang. And then there we actually do see the blood in the hand. Let's see. Demonetization be damned, right? Boom. Ooh, that is some good makeup right there. What do you call them? Prosthetics. Or just special effects makeup, basically. Don't know the term. A really good movie that has some insanely disgusting special effects makeup is, I think it was called Kajaki or something like that. It's a British war film about people and landmines. Oh, I remember watching that back in university with a bunch of buddies, and it was terrible. We were just shaking. Like, I'm not a squeamish person by any means, but that movie shook me to my core with the gore in that film. It was terrible. Go give it a watch. I'll link it in the description below. If you get past the intro, which is like the first 10-15 minutes, which, by the way, if you're gonna make a film, make it entertaining from the get-go. But if you can get past that, you know, slow start, it really picks up so well. Anyway, so see, you got poor dude that's still hung up over there on the hook, and now he's getting shot at by his own teammates, by his own, you know, bodyguards. A lot of cuts, a lot of cuts. But while it does cut on action, sometimes it shows some of the most important impacts. And that is so important because if your dude knows martial arts, if your stuntmen are good, usually you kind of want to show what they're doing. I really hate this trope in Hollywood films where you just cut. Every time a punch lands, you cut because they're not hitting each other for real. It's getting a lot better now. You see films like John Wick, you see films like The Raid, although that's an Indonesian film. You see films like that, Extraction. You see films like that where they actually starting to show the fighting properly. That's a good thing. Sometimes you don't want to show it for a story reason, for a narrative reason, but in an action flick like this is trying to imitate, you should at least show 1 or 2 bits of actual impact to really drive the point home, and it makes a big difference. You'd be surprised. I'm sorry, I'm going off on a tangent here, but this is kind of what you get with these videos. I remember watching The Raid 2. If you haven't seen The Raid, don't know what The Raid is, it's about this Indonesian police officer. The first one's about him going through this building. The second one's about him trying to infiltrate this mob. We watched The Raid 2 in cinemas the day it came out, and I've never had a cinema experience quite as incredible as watching The Raid 2. It was like being at a sports event. People were cheering and oohing and ahhing and just, you know, ooh on every impact because it was shown. Not all of it, but so much of it was shown, and so the majority of it, the important parts were shown. It made such a difference. Now, I'm sure, you know, it's different at home because I did buy the Blu-ray, came home, and I watched it with my dad, and, you know, it was good, but it wasn't quite the same. The atmosphere in that theater was electric. I have never before nor after experienced anything quite like that, where everybody in the cinema was reacting at the same time out loud, vocally, which didn't matter as much because the film's got subtitles anyway, but it makes a huge difference in how the audience reacts And all you're trying to do at the end of the day is incite emotion, right? Ooh. Now this throw thing, it's a really kind of classic technique of he throws it, and then what we have is the blade being thrown, and then we just have like kind of a quick whip pan, and then it's already in the guy's chest. And you can kind of tell if you slow it down. And then as the whip pan kind of comes to a close, you know, it looks like he hit him. The choreography in this is so beautiful. You got the bicycle kick here. Boom. Perfect kind of ups and downs. It's not just full on, you know, action. So it goes back down and lets you process what just happened. And then it comes back up. So many films just think, you know, like think Expendables or Fast and Furious, some of their problems there in those films. You know, if you're a fan, I'm not, you know, trying to like say anything negative about them other than the fact that they don't let you, at least not in the action sequences, they don't let you take a breather to just understand what just happened. It is important, even in non-stop action films, to give people a minute just to see and process what they've just seen. It drives the point home, and it kind of plays into connecting with the character, because if you're fighting, you're not fighting the whole time. You got to take a breather. Fighting's a very, very draining thing to do. So you want them to feel that. If you don't, they just feel like Superman. You don't connect with them as much. And again, over here, another classic technique where you see he comes at him, but we don't see what happened. We just see a blood splatter and we hear it. Sometimes, you know, on the opposite end of the spectrum from showing the action, sometimes you want to imply the action in a way where the audience fills it in. And usually everybody will fill it in with the worst thing they can imagine. For me, something that you could find disturbing might not be disturbing, and vice versa. So leaving it up to the imagination, your brain picks the most disturbing thing for yourself. And it works well here. Like the guy's backing up and everything. Obviously, comes out arm or hand missing. A little bit on the muzzle flashes of the gun there, a little bit. It doesn't matter. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, some John Wick gun fu there. This slow-mo jump I was going to talk about is another mechanic from the game. And it's really good because usually cinematics are supposed to kind of capture the spirit of what the game should be. And I think this does a perfect job. If you haven't seen anything from Sleeping Dogs, go look it up. It's very good. And it's pretty similar to this, obviously not to the fluidity of what you can achieve in real life, yada yada, I know. But you can learn a lot from games if you're a filmmaker. Don't ever think that the only thing that should inspire you is films. Books, films, games, TV shows, comics, freaking real life, news events. Everything has little tidbits that you can pick out and get inspired from. It just killed the dude. Again, implementing, you know, reloading. You know, a lot of films forget that. Guns run out of ammunition. This one doesn't. And Ooh, the impact, right? This part I'd forgotten about. But literally just like the Raid 2. We're here on the road in the chase with the bike. Very Matrix. Now, I don't know if the police would realistically shoot out of the car on a bike in a busy street. I don't know how. You know, of course, the guy, he doesn't care. He's shooting back, even though he's undercover cop. But, you know, I don't think the uniformed police would do that. But... Ooh. That's the Superman moment there. But what a transition. Look at that. From him grabbing the bus, and boom, where everything is cut to the beat. Editing here and everywhere is so important, and everything in this whole trailer is cut to the beat so perfectly, and it makes for such a good experience to watch it. I mean, this is clearly on a wire, you know, there's no way he's not jumping off a bike like that, and he's 100% you're not grabbing that. So yeah, that's definitely on a wire. That bike is, I think, CGI. And then boom.
The Dragonhead will want to meet you. Looks like you're moving up in the world.
You got the mirror scene, classic, you know, what am I becoming? You know, the character reflecting what they're doing and all that, before it just transitions back to their life. Very neo-noir kind of aesthetic. Obviously, the Venetian blinds help, but just generally. And the hard-boiled detective. Yeah, this is I'm pretty sure this is all CG. Like all the building and everything. Not this one, but the previous one. Although maybe this one too.
Now they trust him.
Yeah, probably this one too. You can see the feathering around him. That's probably green screen.
He's in.
You got the closing graphics. Beautiful. Probably one of the most underrated trailers in recent years. And I remember watching this the first time and just being blown away by how great it was. And watching it back now, years later, I'm glad to say it hasn't lost any of its action or any of its excitement. It is so well done, especially for a 3-minute trailer. These game companies really know how to make cinematics, and they do an amazing job with live action, usually. Not all, but in this case, this was a perfect one. Anyway, if you guys have any more suggestions for me, put it in the comments or DM me on Twitter or Instagram or just social media of your choice. And go ahead and hit subscribe. Until next time, stay creative.